Hi, it's me, Brooks. Welcome to Heal This. Today, I am talking to Katie Sulkowski. She is a facilitator for Women Warriors, a peer group for mom entrepreneurs. This is really exciting because it kind of hits home, right? Entrepreneur, a mom, and actually, she and I are really good friends, and we are in a group together. And so we're going to talk all about that. Hi, Katie.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Awesome.
How are you?
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe give us some background. And, this is the part where you get to talk all about yourself.
Oh boy. Not to be put on the spot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, thank you for having inviting me on and having this conversation. A lot of topics that we'll cover today are so incredibly relevant and powerful for, I would think, your listeners. It's about building community and building really wonderful, safe environments for peer-to-peer support. Where we all have life challenges, personal, physical, professional that we overcome. And a lot of what I am hoping and trying to bring to the table these days is a holistic approach to empowering other women who are business owners. And part of my story and why I'm even doing this a little over a year ago, I was full-time working at a large global company and fulfilling a lot of life dreams. However, there was a workforce reduction event, and that's sort of a fancy way of saying, a lot of people got laid off, which has been happening quite a bit in the last, couple of years. And, that was a pivot moment. It was kind of like that was unexpected and certainly didn't feel very good. But it was also a really nice nudge from the universe to step away and also be able to pause on
Yeah.
that really fast pace of lifestyle. I'm just feeling busy and very under a lot of pressure a lot of times, and just be able to step away from that and be like, all right, really what kind of life do I want to design here? And how do I want to show up every day? And central for me are my bonus kids. I call them my bonus kids. They call me bonus mom. So they're my step kids, but we use the word bonus because we love it.
I like that.
And, I could just feel myself not being able to be as present as I wanted to be when they would come home and, home from school and all of that. So finding the balance between, being a mom and showing up for my family and providing for them in other ways, along with, how do you be, a producer or, have this work life as well.
Right.
I didn't know how to do all that. And so the universe really stepped in and helped me be able to rearrange my priorities. And what came out of that was, at least for me, I felt very alone when that happened. And I just instinctually knew, I was like, I need to pull some friends around me. And, I still love helping other leaders, other, women in business, think through business challenges. That was just something I've always, done in my work life. And I thought, well, how can I stay connected to that, but also build a really great, community around me? And so, um, just starting in my own very small network, I said, let's start a sacred circle. And that's how you and I met.
Yeah.
We didn't even know each other before that, but it
Nope.
was, through the grapevine, and you joined, and we have a handful of other women who've joined, and gosh, it's been over a year. And now
Hmm.
we're, kind of envisioning what we want to do over the next year, which is really exciting.
Hmm.
And it was building that community and continuing to, tap into the gifts and the things that I loved around, how do you find that balance between being a mom and raising a family and growing a business? So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
awesome. Thank
yeah.
you. Love it. Um, so why do you think that having a group is so important? What is it about the group that, um, is so special? What do you think?
Mm. It's our connection. We celebrate one another. Um, we meet the current group meets once a month, and the new group that is going to form is actually going to be a virtual group, so we'll be able to meet more frequently. But even when you're not maybe connected or talking every single day, that there's
Mhm.
4, 5, 6 other individuals out there just arm's length away because you got your phone. All you got to do is either send a text
Yep,
or something fun, and we are connected, and we are thinking about each other even when we don't know it, or we are
right,
holding that space for one another, knowing what challenge or wonderful life transition we're going through. I mean,
for sure.
we even have people who got married over this past year. We were able to
Yes,
celebrate that together and hold that
yes,
space, and um,
yeah,
that to me, staying connected.
for sure. I think that throughout my life, there's been different times when, and I think we can all think about this, right? Where we have different groups or different communities that come into play and they make a huge difference in our life, right? Whether we're in school, if we're in college and there's a specific group that we join, and it's because we really need to be surrounded by other people that are like minded as we are. And so, I think that's, the connection that's there. Maybe that's obvious, but if we look back and, through time, right, we join groups because we feel a sense of belonging, right? We feel supported, and we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. And just like you said, in those times when we can feel really alone, it's nice to be able to just send a text or ask a question and say, hey, are you guys experiencing this? Is this something that you have, had happen to you or whatever? And what do you think and what do you do? One of the most important ones I know that I joined was for a mom's group when I started having babies, right? I was like, I need other people around me to say, yes, this is totally normal, or this is what happens. And so that it has been really helpful. And so when not,
Yeah.
a little over a year ago, when you reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to join this group? I was kind of like, well, sure. I haven't ever really had a business before, and I'm going all in with all of these different modalities and, podcasting and all that kind of stuff. And I will need help. And just having the feedback, just knowing that once a month I'm going to meet
Yeah.
with ladies who are all doing their own business, right? They're all really going for it.
Mhm.
And we just all happen to be moms. Like you said, it wasn't like that was a criteria, although I love having that be an added thing, because when you are a mom, it does change the dynamics of things. And it's really helpful to have other people say, this is what happened for me. And in our specific group, we have people who are grandmas, right? And maybe
Mhm.
people who are having little children in their life, and everything in between. Kids are going off to college, kids are moving out, all that kind of stuff, and then
Yeah.
middle school stuff, right? So it's nice to be able to bounce ideas off of everyone.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a, it's
And
good.
you know, you hear other people share their stories, and that's what takes the edge off some of the anxiety of, is this okay? Or, is this going to be too much? Or is this, in the realm of, okay, we'll be all right. And even that can just go a long, long way, especially when you're a solopreneur or you're raising a family. It helps to have people who you trust and you feel like there's a belonging to share their stories.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything we've said, everything we're saying, everything we're doing has been done before, but it's the uniqueness of everyone's story that makes it new. It makes it relatable. And sometimes something in your life might not really, I might not really connect with it as strong as someone else's life, right? And so that's why having the group and being able to bounce ideas off of each other or share our stories, it's like, yes, I totally can relate to that.
Yeah.
And maybe I can't all the way relate to that, but I can totally hold space for you,
Yeah.
because we have grown to really love each other. And like you said, it's not just about the work part or the business part. It is about loving, life, having, knowing that other people care. Oh my gosh, big deal, right? And that connectedness.
And, I'll even share that our bodies go through change,
Yes.
I mean,
Yep.
let's just take that dimension. That's a pretty big one in and of itself. And it definitely helps to hear other people's stories. And, you I know personally that has been a huge sense of, comfort and support this past year. My body kind of did a, almost an exponential curve,
Yeah.
there with change.
Right.
And it was really great to hear that, oh, I'm not alone, or, oh, that's, yeah, that happened to me too. Or, I know somebody that happened to.
Right.
That can go a long way. So,
Yes. It feels good. So
yeah.
to know that you're not alone. And in fact, one of the things that I wanted to bring up is about if you haven't heard about the blue zones, like, I don't know where you've been, but, there's books and there's a TV
Yep.
show now on Netflix too, which is amazing. But one of the main things that they know now, they've done studies and have proven that it supports, a longer life and a healthier life, is community and having individuals that are, there's something about
Yeah.
knowing the fact that somebody's waiting for you to show up, like, in not a bad way. Like,
Yeah.
it's an
Yeah.
amazing feeling to know, oh my gosh, they're anticipating my arrival,
Yeah.
and so that's great. Whereas, it's not a bad thing to go somewhere alone and be alone, because I do that too, but it has a totally different feel to it. And
Yeah.
so to know that there's a group of people that are like, oh, yay, we're all going to show up. It's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's part of it. I feel like it is for our mental health, our physical health, and also it's helping me just um, be excited about life and have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I love about Blue Zones is how they approach many dimensions of, health and well-being, right? And, you bring all of those pieces of you to the conversation.
Yes,
Foods and, eliminating toxins from your life, eliminating all kinds of toxins, even, emotional ones, or
right.
those kinds of things. And that's the great thing about these groups, is that nothing is off limits.
That's
You
right.
know, anything that's going on in your life, it's all related. It's
Hmm.
all related. So I feel like the days of, um, a friend of mine put it, there was a saying out there. It's like, women are expected to work like they don't have kids, and they're expected to be a mom like they don't have a job. And
That's really good.
oof, boy, does that kind of rings true from my past, what my past experience was. Now I'm trying to help women carve the path forward that integrates all of that.
For
So,
sure. Yes.
uh,
I love that. And that, I feel like that is a higher, you know, vibrational frequency of
yeah,
thinking that,
yeah,
yes, okay, maybe we can't do everything 100% all the time, but we could definitely do everything
yeah,
well if we have a support group, right?
yeah,
If we have a group of people that, hey, it's okay. It's gonna be messy sometimes,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, that makes me feel a little
And
better.
yeah, I feel like what I've learned about our health, it's about bringing our bodies back into balance,
Right.
and how much the foods we eat and our gut health, you know, influences our, mental state, or
For
our,
sure.
our physical state, even just feeling good when you get up in the morning, having the difference between having energy or being fatigued.
Right.
Taking care of our gut is super important.
For sure.
How does that, where does that come into the conversation? Well, I don't know, but we're going to bring it in, you know,
Yes.
we're going to
Yes.
bring it in.
The other thought I had, and we've talked about this before, is, we're not supposed to do this alone.
Mm,
I think a lot of times, yes, there's been times in my life where I'm like, I did this all by myself and I'm so proud of myself. But
yeah,
honestly, if I zoom out, I didn't do it by myself. I
right.
had a lot of help, and I called in people to be my support group, right? But we're not supposed to do it alone. And like we were just talking about before, one of our friends brought up, if you really look at what happens to cancer cells, right? They isolate themselves and they go over here, and they go by themselves, and then they start multiplying. And so then there's more of that particular cell that we just don't want. When I try to liken that to myself, when I'm by myself for too long, I go off on way too many tangents. I start thinking I know things, or I start having these thoughts about, like, well, what if this, or and I kind of do that downward spiral, and then it kind of ends up in that fear or that
Yeah,
worry or whatever. But when I connect with others and I come out of that
yeah,
isolation, and I say, hey ladies, I really need help, then right away I feel loved and supported.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's why what I feel is different about this, are the group we have, and then the groups that I'm going to keep leading going forward, is that there's nothing that you can't bring into the conversation.
Right.
And I one thing I enjoy um, as part of my personal practice is more of a Buddhist or an Eastern mindfulness practice, and
Mhm.
I've actually been on another platform that has been building community for a couple of years, and a particular practitioner does a lot around mindfulness compassion, and I'm really learning that the more we give compassion to whatever is the block or the negative force or energy or thought, it's not trying to push it out and saying you're out there and I'm in here. It's just kind of, it's almost like holding your hand open, having a loving compassion toward it.
Yes.
It melts it. It
Yes.
transforms it. It
Yes.
transforms it.
Yes.
And that actually excites me a lot, just to be part of something that brings more of that into our world in
Yes.
all these different forms, through our human connection. That's
Yes.
I feel like, we can all agree that that is what we need so much more of in our world these days.
Yes.
And I am excited about being a part of something that's helping bring more of that to life.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which leads me to,
yeah.
um, not too long ago, I just read a study that said that right now in this time is one of the most loneliest times
Mm,
of all of individuals. When you think about it, it's super crazy because we are so connected, right? Like, when I was in 5th grade, I had a best friend that moved away that I never talked to again.
yeah,
Right? Like, because we
yeah,
didn't have phones and I didn't have email, and I wasn't going to write a letter. I was in the 5th grade, So it's like, and we
yeah,
never talked ever again. But
yeah,
now I can find you on social media. We can connect so much easier now, but
yeah.
yet we're so lonely. And so why is that, right? And how can we fix that? How can we heal this, right? So
Mhm.
what are your thoughts about that?
That's a big one, Brooks. Well, I do go back to my mindfulness, compassion uh, training, and the teachers that I enjoy. Um, it's the quality of our connection, and it's the
I
how.
agree.
You know, yes, we can text people all day long, or you know message people, see them through social media channels. That doesn't really get to the heart
No.
always. So I would encourage people to if they're feeling that kind of loneliness, it's cultivating the heart to heart relationship. And
Yes.
also, what I have learned in my practice is it really does start with ourselves. It's being our own best friend and being wonderfully, you know, nurturing and compassionate towards our own bodies.
Yes.
That's a big one. That's been a big lesson for me this past year. Not making an enemy of our bodies, even when they can't, do exactly what we are trying to make them do right now. How do you go back and practice still being compassionate with your body? Certainly, children are our teachers in this every
For
day,
sure.
every
Yes.
day.
Yes.
And then certainly, with the people in our closest circles, and then as we zoom out, there are one of the things I've really enjoyed doing this past year is joining a volunteer practice. People get together virtually through an app, but we just practice mindfulness, compassion, and kindness.
Right.
And it's like, at first, I was like, this is so intriguing. I really want to try this. And then you start to realize how vital it is to our being.
Yes.
But we don't really talk about this kind of stuff a whole lot in our mainstream culture.
No.
And it may be your thing, it may not be your thing. It doesn't matter. You can tap into this in your own way. You follow your heart, you follow your energy, you follow your joy.
That's right.
And I feel like if you follow your joy, you'll tap into that. So,
Yes. Right.
yeah, the
Yes.
quality the
Because,
quality of our connections. Is it bringing you joy? Are you following your joy?
yes. Yeah. And I mean, in a time when you can have a conversation with AI, right? And it
Mhm.
can go back and forth, doesn't mean that it truly is connected to you. And that's what we're trying to talk about is, and again, you said it, but I mean, I'm a big, you know, promoter of loving yourself. When you actually spend time with yourself and listen to, you know, who you are and what your body is telling you and what your emotions are and what your thought processes are and your belief systems and all those kind of all
Mhm.
that, you can actually hold more space. You have the capacity for more for others. And so there's more compassion, there's more grace and
Yeah.
love for others. So it definitely starts with self,
Yeah.
coming from that heart space of loving others. And you know what, it's so easy to do when everything's good and right, and somebody thinks exactly like you. But that is the whole challenge of us being here together, is to
Yeah.
expand and to love more, because it is a little bit of a challenge, right? It is a hard time. And that's when we have to say, wow, I can still
Yeah.
hold space for you and love you because I can for myself,
Yeah.
right? And
And that's why right now, as part of these groups, I want to encourage women who are leaders in their businesses and their lives to cultivate a practice that helps you, you know, get reconnected to your own grounding, your own core, your
yes.
own reason why you're doing the things you're doing.
Mhm.
But it is a practice. All of these things are a practice for that very reason,
Absolutely.
because when life deals us those challenging moments, it throws us off.
Yep.
But we do, if you join a group, then you've got that group, and that is huge. And then if you have that practice to also wrap around you, then you've really got a dynamic um, tool set, resilience, all of those good things, right? It's
For sure.
And those
Yep.
are the kind of lessons I want my kiddos to learn earlier.
Heck yeah.
Wouldn't it be incredible for our
Yes.
little ones to really get it so much earlier, so much
Yes.
sooner? Like, what would
Yes.
the world look like?
Mhm. Maybe our great grandkids will know, you know? Because if we're teaching our kids and then our kids are teaching their kid, it's like
Yeah,
it's gonna happen at some point. I have hope and I believe that it will.
yeah,
So, okay, so tell us about this new group. Tell us
yeah.
all about it.
Well, women warriors, that's what we're calling ourselves. That's how we feel. That's how I
Yes.
felt in the past. Um, these are mom entrepreneurs, whether it's a very small startup, solopreneur, but women who are leaders in their businesses and leaders in their lives. And they're growing
Yes.
a business, they're growing a family. We'll be able to have shared wisdom, certainly a lot of wonderful, practical experience, um, and also the peer support. And then, my role as a facilitator is to really listen and, help highlight, what are the priorities that the individual and as a group, what do we want to, talk about or look
Hmm.
at, or even if we have goals, what do we want to accomplish or achieve over the next several months or year, and to help, provide that safe environment that the group can keep coming back to and keep tapping into. So we're women warriors. We are on a platform called joinforum.com. It's a new platform. I feel like they have a really great, business concept and service for people. It's all about this connection. They too saw that people were feeling more isolated than ever, lonelier than ever, and struggling with mental health. And so that is why the founders created this platform to really help dissolve all that and bring people together in quality, community.
Yes.
So we will meet Tuesdays virtually on Zoom, uh, you know, noon Central Time for about an hour. We'll meet bi-weekly, and it's going to be, a really fun combination of, group discussion focusing on individuals, and then I'll also bring in some different guest speakers, and
Nice.
we'll have some nice, topics that I'll probably curate depending on, the group makeup. So kind of drawing upon my consulting background and what I've done in the past. But it's going to be very creative. It's going to be very collaborative.
Hmm.
We're going to bring a lot of joy to the conversation,
Nice.
and help people expand.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So whether you are just starting a business, just started a business, or whether you've had your business for a long time, whether you have employees or no employees, whether you're just having your babies or you've sent them off and maybe you're a grandma now, but all those things work for this group.
Yeah.
And whether you want to come because you want to just be around other women entrepreneur moms, or whether you're coming because you're thinking, I have some questions and I need some help, or a mixture of both, right? I mean, maybe the questions are about kids stuff, or maybe the questions are about business stuff, whatever it is, like
Or
this,
help.
that, or health stuff, right? It
Yeah.
all works.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it all, right?
Yep.
You're going to
That's
have that space for all of that.
right.
And I think that's amazing because I mean, it it's going to be all the things. It's not just one. I can't just do one thing, focus on one thing. I have all of it on a daily basis. So I get that. And I think that a lot of moms, entrepreneurs, all the things, they need help with that too. So I'm excited. I think it's going to
I
be
know,
fun.
I'm excited too. And I will say I'm able to offer a free month trial period. So if folks are, interested, they're welcome to email me through the platform, and I can
Yes.
also share my email address. And then if you want to try it out for a month, but we'll keep it a small group. We won't be more than 7 people, so that we can really dive deep
Nice.
and form some real connections.
Yeah. It'll be great.
Yeah.
And so I will have all of the information in the description below. And then if this is something that you are interested in, you're curious about it, I hope that you will go and reach out to Katie and look it up and start, you know, having the idea that maybe this is something for you. And if this isn't, then, you're missing out.
Yeah,
Cause
or
I
share
feel,
it with a friend who pops to mind,
yes.
You know,
Yeah.
because we all are each other's network. And, I'm always saying, "Oh, I heard about this, my friend over here needs, support in this, that, or the other. So I love connecting people. So I think
Yeah.
the more we do that, the more we're building that higher vibration around the globe too.
I agree. And that
Yeah.
you bring up another point. When we all come together, we're bringing our gifts and our skills and our talents to the table,
Yeah.
and we're celebrating all of that. And some of the things that you do really well, I don't. And so it's really nice to know that I can reach out and say, hey, what do you think about this? What should I do? Or do you know someone? And most likely someone in that group is going to know. And so it's an option. It's a great option. It's exciting. And I'm excited to join the group. So it'll be fun.
Oh, can't wait.
Yeah.
And we're going to
Yeah.
start March 4th. That's our start
Okay.
date.
It's
So
coming up.
coming up.
And if you're listening to this or you watch this after March 4th, please still reach out. That
Yeah.
it's not closed
Yeah.
at that point. And if Katie is able to reach a lot of people and her group is growing, guess what? She's going to do another one too. So
Yeah.
there'll be more than one. So don't worry about that part. But we just really wanted to make sure that everyone understood you're not alone and
Yeah.
that there are ways to reach out, and sometimes they're not in a physical form. We have to do the virtual thing. And isn't technology awesome? And that is the other thing I wanted to make sure and say, don't come from a place of fear, worrying about how, all of these new technology things are going to come in and maybe take over our lives. No, we're way stronger than that.
Yeah.
And we're going to be okay. And I think what makes us stronger is each other and connecting with each other. And so that's
Yeah.
what we have to focus on, and coming from a place of love. So I really appreciate you being
Oh,
on here today and sharing this message. And I'm super excited and hoping that, I'm sending good vibes and it's going to
yes.
take off and it's
Too.
going to do well.
I'm excited to meet the women who are going to be there. Can't wait to meet you and hear your stories.
That's
So
great.
thank you for having me,
Awesome.
Brooks.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. And I'll put everything below. Reach out to Katie, and thank you. Heal this. Have a great day.